Honorable the Leader of the Opposition, Your Excellency Ambassador Michelle Seisen, Honorable the Attorney General, Mrs. H.W. Jayawadhana, family members of the Jayawadhana family, senior attorneys, colleagues, ladies and gentlemen. This day will go down in the history of the Bar Association of Sri Lanka as unforgettable one, as we have enhanced the capacity and its sustainability whilst maintaining our much treasured and cherished independence of the bar. I take this opportunity to place on record my sincere gratitude to Your Excellency Michelle Seisen and Mrs. H.W. Jayawadhana and the family for the generous contribution you have made to make this dream a reality. My colleague and the Deputy President, Mr. Prasanna Jayawadhana, mentioned the names of all who took part in making this dream a reality, but he forgot one name. That's himself. Ladies and gentlemen, he chaired this committee and he had done a job well done, Prasanna. Congratulations and thank you. Permit me to take this opportunity to perform a duty on behalf of the bar. Honorable the Attorney General, this will be the last official function of the BASL that you will attend as a sitting Attorney General. We attended the same school since year one during our tender years. In the Aegis department, you were a ranker. 2 years of your stewardship as a country's Attorney General was a period of tremendous pressure. During your tenure, you have conducted yourself well. The last decision of yours in filing an appeal in the Kurram's rape and murder case is a feather on your cap. Let me wish you a successful career in the unofficial bar. It is even more important that we are able to name this conference hall as Dr. H.W. Jayawadhana, the first auditorium as the first ever president of the Bar Association of Sri Lanka. His courage and unparalleled leadership qualities at a time the legal profession was under tremendous pressure from an intrusively interfering Minister of Justice who did everything within his means to undermine the bench and the bar should be admired. The building of the Incorporated Law Society, which now houses the Legal Aid Commission, was acquired by the then government. Mr. T.G. Gunaratna was then a trustee of the Law Society. After the acquisition, Mr. Gunaratna was invited by the minister to take over as a competent authority. He flatly refused the invitation. In a frontal attack on the legal profession, the minister introduced the infamous Administration of Justice law in 1974 and fused the profession that consisted of advocates and proctors. Dr. Jayawadhana was the last chairman of the Bar Council representing the advocates. The minister did not stop with that. He even wanted the BASL crippled and urged all members of the Attorney General's department who were in the Bar Council, including Mr. Jed Gunaratna, Mr. Ranjit Abesuriya, and Sunil De Silva to resign. Of course, they are from the same school with the motto, Disque out Discade, where Dr. Jayawadhana too had his education. Decades later, the present Attorney General, the Deputy President, the Secretary, and myself have had the privilege of being students of the same school. They had the guts and the courage to resist the demand of the minister, the request to resign, and the minister was left in frustration. In a hotly contested election, Dr. Jayawadhana was elected the first ever president of the Bar Association of Sri Lanka with a majority of 112 votes. The doyen defeated another leading light, Mr. Sri Ramanathan. At the first Bar Council meeting, he was proposed to the chair by another doyen of the bar, Mr. Thiagalingam, Queen's Counsel. Mr. Thiagalingam was never known to be a man with political inclinations. If at all, he was a lawyer for Mrs. Sirimawadi Bandaranaike, the then Prime Minister. Mr. Jayawadhana rose above such petty matters. At his behest, some of his confidants invited Mr. Thiagalingam to step in as the second president of the BASL. He declined with his choice of tough words. After 1977, Dr. Jayawadhana was instrumental in getting the building that was acquired vested in the Bar Association of Sri Lanka that was established in 1974. During later years, the government took the building back and gave us the building we are now occupying. Dr. Jayawardena had a chamber that was full with many illustrious men. Honorable Parinda Ranasinghe, one time Chief Justice, Honorable Lakshman Kadiragama, Honorable Mark Fernando, Mr. Chandra Senratna, Honorable Ranil Wickramasinghe, former Prime Minister and the Leader of the Opposition, to name a few. Two of his juniors have adorned the presidency of the BASL. The first being Mr. N.R.M. Daluwatta, and I have the privilege of being the second. Of course, I was also the junior to Mr. Erdly Pereira, the second president of the Bar Association of Sri Lanka. With the promulgation of the 1978 Constitution, several new judges were appointed directly from the unofficial bar. They were men with stature and eminence. They stood up for the judicial independence and the integrity of the profession. Chief Justice Neville Samarkand, Justice Mark Fernando, Justice A.R.B. Amarasinghe, Justice Dheeraratne were a few of them. Dr. Jayawardena may well have advised the President in making these appointments. They were not cronies. They had the courage to stand up to their convictions, to conscientiously hold against the very executive that appointed them and develop the law on fundamental rights at its formative stages. These are the judgments that face up to the embarrassment of some of the new appointees to the judiciary. He was even responsible in recommending some worthy names for silk, not silkworms. Dr. Jayawardena respected values. His family members were shut out from politics. He was a class of his own. I will quote one incident concerning Chief Justice Parinda Ranasinghe, his junior, one time. He devilled in Mr. Jayawardena's chambers. When R.P. Vijayasuriya, the Member of Parliament for Kundasale, was indicted in the High Court for having committed criminal defamation on the President of the country, the all-powerful Jayawadhana as he was then, the brother of Dr. Jayawardena, Mr. D.S. Vijayasinghe appeared for the accused in the High Court. He took up a preliminary objection saying that the person who is alleged to have been defamed has not made the first complaint at the police station and the matter has not been first taken up before a conciliation board, and that was a requirement under law. In the High Court, the objection was overruled and Vijayasuriya was convicted. The matter went up in appeal before a divisional bench of 3 judges presided by Justice Parinda Ranasinghe in the Court of Appeal. The bench went into the matter in depth and detail and upheld the objection that was raised by Mr. D.S. Vijayasinghe and acquitted Mr. Vijayasuriya for having defamed the sitting president. It was taken in good spirit, as it should be. And Justice Ranasinghe was given his due promotion to the Supreme Court, and later he was even appointed as the Chief Justice by the same President. The beauty of it all was that the Attorney General or even the President Jayawadhana, the aggrieved party, did not think it fit to appeal against the order. Dr. Jayawadhana, as probably his brother's private legal advisor, was unmoved. That's the caliber of the man he was. That's the quality of the training that he gave his juniors. This is in contrast to some of our experience, where the judges who sat in judgment in a matter that was filed by the 43rd Chief Justice and issued writ cautioning the Parliamentary Select Committee proceedings are being frowned upon with wrath of the executive, depriving two judges of that bench of their due promotions. Late Justice Sri Skandaraja died with a broken heart. A well-experienced and honest and upright judge, Justice Anil Gunratna, is being repeatedly overlooked for promotion. I have to ask this question from the executive: do honest judges have no place in the judiciary? I hope even at this late stage that this grave error would be rectified, maintaining the dignity of the judiciary in some manner. I hope Honorable the Leader of the Opposition would take due notice of these matters that concerns both bench and the bar equally. It is essential for each generation to share with successive generations the experiences and the struggles of the past for preserving a constitutional democracy and the rule of law. It is an evergreening process, and Dr. Jayawardana's role must encourage and inspire each one of us, judge, lawyer, and citizen, to play our little part in this never-ending battle. In another instance, during the BASL election, Dr. Jayawardena promoted the name of Mr. H.L. De Silva for presidency. Mr. De Silva was no admirer of the ruling party, certainly not of Dr. Jayawadana's beloved brother, President Jayawadhana. Dr. Jayawadhana persuaded a prospective candidate to step down, as he thought that shy and unassuming H.L. De Silva would not be able to defeat his all-popular opponent. Mr. H.L. De Silva was elected president with a resounding majority. Dr. Jayawadhana stood tall, way above petty issues, as he treasured the dignity and the independence of the bar and the judiciary. The nearby Supreme Court stands as a monument to the unique contribution he made to the bench and the bar, adding color and luster to her staff. He obtained the assistance of Dr. A.R.B. Amarasinghe, and the two of them planned every detail meticulously, including minute details, even the beautiful paintings that stand on the walls of that magnificent edifice. He was a rationalist with a razor-sharp intellect, and yet he was full of compassion and sympathy for his kind. A lawyer par excellence, but his lawyering was only a means to an end. Law was never his main pursuit. His success as a lawyer acted as a springboard for enabling and empowering him to espouse causes dear to his heart, particularly the legal profession. He was a beacon and a symbol of selfless courage, and possessed a lion heart, fearless and resolved to stand up for what he considered to be right, with no regard to personal consequences. Though he is no more with us, he still lives in the hearts of the members of the legal profession and those in the judiciary, and will be looked up to with admiration. Dr. Jayawardena, what a man you were. The references above encapsulates my small tribute to a great lawyer and a legend of our time, a leader and visionary of the bar, and an incomparable builder like his forefathers, who contributed immeasurably to legal learning, ethics, and values. But above all, who displayed indomitable courage to fight for his beliefs and convictions, ignoring all consequences to his personal fortunes. We would remember him as a great warrior, prince of the bar, a knight in shining armor of the law. Thank you.